The home doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's working hands and early mornings. It's the place where safety doesn't have to explain itself, where love looks like consistency and showing up looks like staying. For a lot of Black families, home wasn't about size or comfort. It was about holding on. In kitchens where meals stretched, holding each other steady in a world that moved fast and forgot faster. In neighborhoods where you learned when to speak and when to watch, something lasting was being built. Not monuments, not headlines, but a life rooted in work, memory, and care. The kind of life that teaches you who you are before you ever have to say it out loud.
My name is Rickey Gerard Thomas. No, there's nothing special, but I don't know actually what it means. I never looked it up, so not sure if it has any type of purpose or validity or whatever. I don't know. My age is 70. Born in September 8th, 1954. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Father's name is Eunice Clarence Thomas. And he was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. And my mother is Rosalie Thomas, and she was born in Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They both kind of, and they actually met at a Navy yard in Brooklyn because my dad he enlisted in the Navy. He left the South and went into the Navy. He had to beg his mother to sign the papers because he was only 17. So he wanted to go to the Navy, so she signed. And when he went to the Navy, he was stationed at Brooklyn Navy Yard, and that's where he met my mother. And they ended up getting married and ended up living in New York. So they both left the South and ended up in New York. In one word, I would describe my parents as very supportive and very encouraging. I feel I'm like my parents, being low key and preserved, and not just looking at life positively. That's how I think I'm like my parents. There was one story that comes to mind that my father used to tell a lot. That he was when he went in the Navy, knowing he was going to be around a lot of water, he didn't know how to swim. So he said that the way they teach you in the Navy to swim is they just throw you in the water. So they threw him in the water. So
you don't stop until you reach the wall.
So eventually, he learned how to swim, from that experience. So I would have to say, my father was my biggest influence because he worked very hard. My dad was a very hard worker. He worked every day, working his own business, but it was his job. He had a plumbing business, but he worked, got up early, went to bed early, got up early, and went to work every day. So that was had an influence or impact on my life because I saw how he had to work hard to provide. So it was 8 siblings in our family. We had 8 siblings in our family, and it was 5 boys and 3 girls. When I grew up with my older siblings was around. They were much older than me. I had siblings that was maybe like 17 years older than me. So when I was younger, I grew up with them, and they were basically living in New York and just living their life, trying to make it. My brother Fats and Lawrence, they all worked jobs, and basically they were just trying to find their way, in life. And as they moved on, I lived with my sister Linda and Roddy, my brother Roddy. We all lived together. Linda, my sister Linda, she's always been a little kind of stubborn and, very opinionated, could say. And Roddy, my brother Roddy, he was always kind of mild-mannered. When we grew up, he was always the one, always in the house all the time. He studied a lot. He he just really dedicated himself to being for school. And he was in school. I mean, he did his homework, and he didn't go out much. He didn't go out much. He just kind of hung around. He started going out later on in life, but he was just his personality was I would say, you know, mild mannered and just kind of I guess he was trying to figure his life out to figure out what he wanted to be, you know, when he got older. So he was looking into a lot of things. Okay, and we lost 3 boys, and my one sister's passed away. So there's now 4 of us left. So 4 passed and 4 left.
Place has a way of shaping you without asking permission. The streets teach timing. The block teaches awareness. You learn how to move, not out of fear, but out of knowing. And when you grow up watching people work, watching families mind their business and mind each other, you start to understand something early. Character isn't loud, it's consistent.